Solutions to real problems, real shit that helps people deal with real life. And I apologize for doing this much later than I normally do, but I was on the road returning from Nashville, Tennessee, where I spent Friday celebrating the life of my uncle James Mims, and being able to spend time with my family and everything there was awesome. And I also want to give a shout out to my love, the love of my life, Maya, for accompanying me on this trip and helping me to get through it. But the reason why I'm coming to you this late, and because I actually have something to say, and I was honored to eulogize my uncle, and to celebrate the life of a true Renaissance man, and to celebrate a life well lived. And his life was truly extraordinary. I don't have the time to really get into that, but this is what I'll say is that if there was a lesson from my Uncle James's life that I could share with you, my friends and supporters here on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and wherever, is that the life well lived is the life that moves forward. And one of the things that I discovered, I mean, it was the last 4 or 5 years of my life that I was stuck. I mean, just really stuck. I was emotionally, I was mentally, I was physically stuck. And the things that I would normally do to move forward, I couldn't do. I just couldn't seem to execute. And so as a result, I spent a lot of time treading water. Now, hopefully, to many of you, it looked like I was continuing to move forward, because the one thing that you want to do is, even if you are in a position where you are stuck, you don't want to give the imagery of being stuck. In other words, you don't want to tip the hand of your actions to others that says that you are stuck. Now, there are people in my life who I confided in, people who I trust, people who are in not just my inner circle, but what I call my dot, right? And these people understood what I was going through, and they poured into me, they edified me, they encouraged me to do what I needed to do to move forward. But one of the things that I want to start with is, because this was a road trip, you get to get some imagery about road trips. And also, this road trip happened in not sub-zero, but sub-freezing temperatures for the entire trip. And there are a couple of important points about that. First of all, is that when you're on the highway, it is important that you keep your eyes fixed on what's going on in the windshield. Where you're going is 20 times more important than where you've been. And you can prove that with the ratio of the size of the rear view mirror to the windshield. The windshield is about 20 times larger than the rear view mirror, because it is 20 times more important to understand where you're going than where you've been. Now, it's always good to have to be able to look behind you to check your progress, to make sure that there are no threats approaching you from the rear. But the main thing about moving forward is looking forward. And I can't stress that enough. Too many of us are trying to move forward while looking behind us. We're trying to move forward while we're looking side to side. And if you do that, what will happen is, invariably, without fail, you will make a mistake that will cause your trip to be impeded. Now, it could be something minor where you just kind of veer off the highway a little bit and it takes a few seconds off your trip, or it can be something catastrophic where you're taking your gaze off the windshield and you actually have an accident which actually impedes your time dramatically and possibly hurts or harms or kills someone in the process. So you have to pay attention to where you are. And also, mindfulness. Going forward requires mindfulness, because in order for you to go someplace where you haven't been, you have to first understand where you are. If you don't understand where you are, the locus of where you are right now, it is impossible for you to move forward. Why? Because you don't know where forward is. If you don't know your location, you don't know where forward is. And if you don't have a sense of direction, see, watch this. We can have direction without focusing on destination, because you can have focus on the direction, because the direction dictates the journey. But what I've said many times before, I've said it on this podcast, I've said it on Phreology Friday with myself and Aaron Tomlinson, that if you look at life as a series of destinations, then you're not really enjoying life. You're not really living fully. Life is a journey. And a journey may consist of destinations, but it also consists of forward progress. You have to keep moving. Another thing I was looking at, I was just watching the game that's on right now between the Lions and the Buccaneers, and there was an incident where a player from Tampa Bay he was hit, contact was made, but the guy kept moving his feet. And because he understood, he was mindful of where he was on the field and mindful of the direction he needed to go, he kept his feet moving and he went on to get the first down. The point is that there are going to be times where something impacts you, and it may seem like it could impede your progress, that it might slow you down, or it might even stop you. But you have to understand, first of all, what direction am I heading in? Am I heading in a direction that is taking me on the journey that I want to go? And if that's the case, if I understand where I am, my locus, and then where I'm my destination, which is my focus, now I can get forward progress and get to where I'm going. So even if I suffer an impact, I understand my locus and my focus, and so I can move forward without hocus pocus. Like that? I do. So the thing is that at all times, understand where you are, understand where you're headed, and keep moving. Do not get to the point where you are stagnant, where you stop, where you slow down. Always move forward. Now, let me say something real quick, because you also need to understand this from a football standpoint. The great running back Barry Sanders, people say that if Barry Sanders ran up and down the field entirely instead of a lot of the side to side and often retreats that he did, that Barry Sanders would own every rushing record in football history. Now, that may or may not be true, but the point that Barry Sanders was making is that sometimes you need lateral moves in order to get forward progress. And also, occasionally, you might have to take a step or two backward in order to avoid traffic, to avoid impediments, to avoid distractions, to avoid obstacles, so that you can move forward. Don't get dismayed if you happen to find yourself a few steps backward from your original locus. The thing is, if you find yourself backward, get your eyes fixed on your focus, which is the path of your journey, and get reset so that you can keep on going. Now, I'm saying all of this because, again, for the last 4 years, I mean, I was stuck. I couldn't figure out how to write the next thing. There were things that Aaron and I had talked about from a production standpoint that we wanted to do. There were projects that I had with other people that I wanted to get done, and I just couldn't seem to get the momentum. And the reason why is that I got stuck. And watch this. And this is the the allusion to the sub-freezing temperatures, is that in sub-freezing temperatures, a lot of times you're going to get ice or snow on the road. And this ice and snow can cause you to get stuck where you're spinning your wheels. In other words, you're expending energy, expending tremendous amounts of energy, attempting to move forward, but not getting anywhere. And so when you enter into a winter of your life, in other words, where things seem to be frozen around you, it's easy to get stuck. But if you understand how to drive a car in the snow, you understand that, like, if you get stuck, you have to learn how to rock the car, how to get a little bit of forward motion, a little bit of backward motion, and build momentum so that you can keep going. See, that's the thing. Getting stuck often is there are different ways of getting stuck. One is that you could just put yourself in park in a place. There's times when you put yourself in neutral in a place where you're spinning your engine, but there's nothing happening, no connection to the wheels. And then sometimes you're actually physically stuck because there's some impediment that's keeping you from moving forward. But in any of these cases, what you have to understand is the principle of momentum. The principle of momentum is that bodies in motion tend to stay in motion, like bodies at rest tend to stay at rest. So what you want to do is you want to get momentum, get something that's akin to forward progress, and get moving. Get the car of your life in gear and start moving forward. Listen, there are some of you out here right now that are beginning 2024 and you feel like you're stuck. You feel like you're uninspired. You feel like you're with the wrong people. You feel like you're in the wrong job. All of these things, what you have to do is you have to begin to assess your situation. You have to look at where you are. This begins with mindfulness, understanding what is my locus? Where am I right now? And then once you get your locus, you get your bearings fixed, then you start looking around and you say, what is my focus? In other words, what direction am I heading in my journey? Now, once you understand those two things, you can start moving. And the other thing that you need to do is you need to understand, what does it take to get moving and keep moving. And so sometimes that means shedding unnecessary baggage. Sometimes that means changing direction. Sometimes that means changing your associations, changing your relationships. It means changing things. And these are some of the things that I had to do. I had to change my thinking. I had to change my relationships. I had to change the things that I was focusing on. All of these things combined helped me to regain my focus, understand my locus, and to get moving. And now I have progress. Now I have momentum. I can see clearly where I'm going, and I can see clearly what I need to do. And the thing is that here's the thing. I can't tell you exactly what you need to do in your life without, say, like one-on-one coaching, which I do offer, by the way. And if you're interested, please hit me up in the comments. But if we're speaking from a generic sense, a general sense, I can't really tell you anything without really knowing your situation. But what I can say is that no one knows your situation better than you, and no one understands what your locus is better than you, and what your focus is better than you. And if you get those things together, I can tell you, you will figure out what you need to get forward momentum, forward motion, and start making progress on the journey of your life. So if you have any questions, at all, want to learn more about how to move forward, please hit me up in the inbox, and I can work with you one-on-one, and I can tell you, based on your situation, what you would need to do in order to get your progress going again, right? So until the next time, I just want to say that I hope that this new year is going very well for you. I hope that you're achieving all of your goals. And if you're not, again, please hit me up. I want to help. And until the next time, please keep an eye out for Freeology Friday with me and Aaron Tomlinson. And again, this Forward Live. So be happy, be well, be filled with peace. And I love you all.